This podcast is about the forms, and with me today we have Sebastian as our guest. You've used form builders, and you said that you've also used Google Forms in the past and Typeform. So with those form builders, like how do you used to do the UTM parameter tracking?
Till today, Typeform are not fully supporting UTM integration.
What do you think is one thing that you feel that the form builders should really get on and fix it? Like you think that it's even missing in all the form builders? Like what would be that one thing?
Main question is always, what do I want to achieve with my form?
Hello everyone, I'm Pratik from MakeForms and welcome to the first of its own kind of a podcast that we are calling FormCast because this podcast is about forms. And with me today we have Sebastian as our guest. Sebastian is from Berlin and he has been a MakeForms user for almost a year, I think, Sebastian.
Yes, that's correct. Hello, everybody.
Hey, it's nice to have you on the podcast today, Sebastian. So, can you give me a little bit of introduction about yourself?
Sure. So, hello, my name's Sebastian. I'm from Berlin, Germany. I've got a business for now over 22 years, I guess. I started my business when I was 19, so this is 21 years ago. What I used to do was large scale events, so like Detroit Motor Show, Auto Motor Show stuff, World Economic Forum, so this scale of events. And I did this till 2020 when we have a small illness in the world.
Yeah.
And then I changed completely from the event industry to finance, and now I'm doing for myself for living as a day trader. But I also have a company where we teach people how to day trade, how to trade futures. And specifically, we develop special software for this trading approach. We provide some educational courses and all the stuff. This is what we do. And my background, so as I said, I used to be an event engineer, so sound video engineer, and also a master craftsman for event engineering. Yeah, for this IT stuff, I did some coding, I did some website stuff, but mostly some kind of networking. So this is the main background that I have on the tech side. But now I keep learning with all this form stuff, with all these entrepreneurship.
Great. The internet came in 1990, and then somewhere around, I think 2000 was when the internet exploded, and then there was this I think dot-com bubble followed by the 2008 recession. So I think you said 19 years, so that's almost around roughly 2006. So tell me, what kind of forms do you used to have back in those days in 2006?
Sure. So in 2006, I think most of the forms that we used were self-coded in HTML,
Mm-hmm.
and there were some early form builders back then, but nothing that I have used in this
Mm-hmm.
time. So when I have used forms, I coded it myself. So just simple contact forms, all the stuff in HTML. So you get an email every time a customer or a person wants to contact you, fills out the form, and you get an email. So this was pretty basic. It doesn't look that nice, but it did the job. So that was my early experiences. And then for I would say for 10, 12 years, I didn't code any page or something. So I'm not really sure how all these form builder stuff develop. And till 2020, I was using it again. So started to use the big brands like Typeform and all the stuff, Google Forms that were available. And it's much easier now to build a really nice looking form with some nice features and all the stuff. And I think 1.5 or 2 years ago, I discovered your company as a competitor to Typeforms. And this really changed the way that we use forms since then, because on most form builders you have very basic functions. You
Okay.
can set up your fields for name, for numbers, for mail, all the stuff. Sometimes you have more advanced stuff that you can, yeah, have some kind of one of kind forms. So one step follows the other, but most of the times you run into some issues, so you can't use it the way that you want to use it.
Okay.
And so, like, when you want to have, let's say, a field where you can choose between 3 or 4 items on a drop down,
Okay.
and let's say you choose the first option, you want to have a completely different next page than you have choose on a second one. So this was really an issue. And also that you maybe want to verify the data that your customer or your lead is entering, so like email address, phone number, all the stuff. And there are some product that offer some kind of basic verification, but if you want or have to use email and phone verification, so as an example, here in Germany, in the EU, we have some legal things that we have to respect. So for
Mm-hmm.
all the data that we have to store in our systems, like name, email address, and all the stuff, the user has to agree. And if he enters a wrong number or the telephone number from a friend or whoever, usually you are not allowed to store this because it is not his phone number that he agreed to store. There has to be a kind of a verification, like an OTP or something. This is why we switched from Typeform, because it was not possible, to your company. And this is, I guess, one of the most largest steps or evolutions in this whole form business.
Got it. Cool. That's good to know. So it's been quite a journey. I think you just walked us through how you used to hand code the forms, then code them and connect it with an email service to using Typeform and then MakeForms. So I'm
Yeah.
a little bit curious to know about how were you doing the lead collection before Typeform or MakeForms? Like I
Mhm.
remember one time we were just having a conversation about this, and you said that you used to run your ads on Facebook and Instagram. So I think that comes with an inbuilt form. So why not
Mhm.
use that particular forms from Facebook and Instagram?
Absolutely. So these forms are okay. So for most businesses, for most cases, they work well. So you have this kind of built-in forms in Instagram. You just click on an ad, so you have all your informations be pre-filled in the form, and you just hit send. So this can work for most businesses, but as I said, you have to be sure that this data is correct and is related to this specific person who, when he clicks enter, he agreed that you save his data. On these Instagram ad forms, you don't have this. So you can enter any telephone number and an email address. So if you click send and it's not your data, we as a company have a big problem. So
Okay.
we have wrong data in our database that we legally not allowed to have.
Got it. So you're telling me that if you have an option like on of the Facebook ad form or the Instagram ad form, and if this person opens it up, they can still change their data because
Yes.
I thought that whenever I see those ads, and sometimes I think that they tell me an option where it says that inquire now, and I would think that it would take me to a landing page, but most of the time it's a form that comes up.
Mhm.
And I think they also have a very beautiful step forms, by the way, because I've
Mhm.
seen they have multiple steps. So I always felt that Facebook used to verify that data for me because like to sign up on Facebook, you need an email address or phone number, and many times they would verify your phone number. So you're saying now to me that the person who has already had a verified phone number on Facebook can still open that lead page and they can just put in anyone's number. Is
Yes.
that?
Yes. That's correct. And to be honest, this is also what I do when I see an ad. This thing, I click on it, but I don't give them my work email address and my phone number because I don't want to be called. So this is what I usually do, and you can do this because of this. If it's a German company or a EU-based company, let's say, they have some issues with this.
Yeah, because you're essentially just calling out someone and without their consent, so this can be a violation under GDPR, I feel.
Correct. That's the point.
So now you send an OTP to them and then you validate and you ensure that this person is allowing you to contact them, correct?
Yes, that's the point. And the second benefit of it, you have the real contact number. So let's say you sell some kind of stuff online or some kind of services,
Mm.
and you have your ad. So you pay for your ad. So let's say per view $10. So that's fine. And for these $10, you want to have a mail address, a name, and a phone number because you want to get in touch with this person. So, and when they have to put in an OTP on the phone number, on the email address, you can be assured that this data is correct and you can use it in your sales process. And this is what we as a company want to have. We want to have real data, no scammers, no spam. We just want to have real data that we can work with. So this is our business.
Yeah. So I think with Google Forms, you can at least be ensured that you can get the verified email addresses
Yes.
because I believe that with the Google Forms, there is an option to let only signed in users fill the
Mhm.
form. But you're saying that with Google Forms, you cannot have the mobile number verified. And since you guys, I believe now that you want the phone number, you might also be following with them on phone, right?
Yes,
So
correct.
that's one problem that you have with
Yes.
forms in general. But you said that you were using Typeform. So Typeform does not have any such option to verify the mobile numbers.
No, they don't have. So I get in touch with Typeform. We had a really good relation, I would say. We have a really good customer success guy at Typeform, and I talked several times to him, and he told me, yeah, we are thinking about it, but we are not able to implement it yet. Maybe in the near future. And they asked him, okay, what is the near future? Is it in a few weeks, few months, next year? What? We are not sure. Until now, they don't have it. So this was a little bit frustrating because I think at Typeform we had about 80 forms. So we use a form for almost everything, for lead generation, for service tickets from customers, for contact forms. On our YouTube channel, for an example, for every video, we have a new form to provide a PDF that we show in this video. So you fill out the form, you give us your data, and in return, you get a PDF with some really good informations. So
Hmm.
this is usually the deal. You give your informations and you get something in return. This is how marketing works, usually.
So you
And
are
yeah,
like lead gen or what you say.
yes,
There's a name for it. You're building your funnel and trying to gather the data,
correct,
basically.
correct.
So yeah, so this is something that really excites me because every time I talk to someone about forms, and I feel that form is such a huge thing. You can just do so many different things, and if you pick up any department, like for sales, you can use forms. For support, you can use forms. It has so many different use cases, but I feel that most of the times it is so overlooked that actually, I feel that people really did not care much about forms, and that's the reason I feel there are so many form builders out there, but not everyone I've heard is that every form builders have this problem where you can
Hmm.
do only something, you cannot do everything, and then at the end of the day they go back to the developer. Because I think I also come from a similar background, right? Like I started doing websites way back in 2008 during my college days, and I remember that uh, in 2012 I was doing freelancing. I was actually taking a project, and 2012 was the time when Typeform came in, and I would say that that's one really good thing that Typeform did is they changed the way you see forms because I feel they really cared about the UI, UX, and about how the form should be because before them, no one was doing one field at a time. Now, I believe many form builders do that. And there are a lot of people trying to create alternatives for Typeform because, yeah, I think as you said, like you wanted something, but you're not getting out of it. And I feel that at this point in time, for them to build anything, they have to go through the process because they have now grown really big. So definitely there's a lot of other people who can like fix those kind of problems. They are going to have a lead here. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Tell me something about this. Like now that you told me that you use it for lead gen also, like you are sending them from your YouTube channel to your form that you have. So are you also tracking those with any kind of TM parameters?
Yeah. So we are now using UTM.
Mm-hmm.
So on the URL, it's some kind of extension for the guys who are now hear the podcast. And with these informations, you can track really precise where a click comes from. So let's say you have 10 ads on Instagram, and you exactly want to know from which of these ads a specific lead or a number of lead is generated. So you have to track this. And one option is you have 10 ads and 10 forms. This is
Wow.
one option, but it's not that cool. So instead of this, you're having one form and you're just sending on the link from your ad so-called UTM parameters. So it's this little question mark behind the address and then some UTM underscore term as an example, like ad number 5 or something like this. And then you can track in your form answers or in your CRM system that you can automate with it. You can track which of your ads performs the best clients because, as an example for Meta or Instagram ads, you have your ad manager and you can see, okay, on ad number 1, I have 18 leads. On ad number 2, I have 112 leads. And then ad number 3, I have 80 leads. So for this example, you say, okay, the ad with 118 leads is the best ad. Let's
So you can spend more on that.
push it, yeah. But now it comes. You have no idea which of these leads
Mm-hmm.
have really customers. So, as it turns out, the ad with the least amount of leads, so let's say only 18, but all of these 18 leads turning into customers because the ad that they saw really good and they thought, oh yeah, I want to buy this product. So only to look at the number of leads helps you. You have to track which of these ads in your CRM system are really becoming customers. So this is really, really important for marketing because in all other cases you are just blowing away your marketing budget.
Got it. So that's good. So you are so the attribution is really the key because you want to attribute each and everything. So
Mhm.
so you've used form builders and you said that you've also used Google Forms in the past
Mhm.
and Typeform. So with those form builders, like how do you used to do the UTM parameter tracking? Like even in the old, I think way back in 2020 because in 2005, yeah, there was not much. So
No,
2005, it's no point
no,
to, I think UTM parameters came in pretty late.
they
So,
come later.
how do you used to do that attribution with Google Forms?
We didn't. There was no way. So I think there may be ways with some custom scripting stuff and all those options, but we didn't use it. So what we did was for every link that we created, so let's say on ads or on YouTube videos, whatever, we created a different link for the
Hmm.
same form. So we just duplicated the form for every video, for every link, so we can track with the name of the form. So we know where this comes from. But
Got it.
when you have 10, 20, 30 ads and 100 videos, it doesn't make sense.
It's not scalable. And then
Absolutely.
if you had multiple forms and all those form data used to go to one Google Sheet, or well, I believe you also have multiple Google
Yes.
Sheets now, and then you have to
Yes.
collect all of this. So that's a good pain point to understand. So I think this is something that every other form builder should definitely take a look at, because turns out this can be a very big pain point for people who are doing lead generation.
It is. It is. And still today, Typeform are not fully supporting UTM integration.
I think no, but there's a way to do that. Maybe you can create a hidden field and
In
then
field, yes.
okay. Yeah, I think this was a feedback that we received from a couple of our clients at MakeForms, and then it seemed like such an important thing to do. So what we did is MakeForms, if it finds that you have an UTM parameter,
Mhm.
it would automatically capture it and it will save against the response.
Mhm.
So and one thing I think to fix the issue that you had of creating multiple forms. Before we were supporting the UTM default UTM parameters, what we did is we allowed our users to create multiple links of the same forms.
Mhm. Yes.
That's not the most ideal way, but at least you can have like the attribution and your form data comes at just one place. So that is something that we did when we started Make Forms. So
Mhm.
this is good to know. So now tell me one thing, like even after using Make Forms, because that's the form tool that you're currently
Mhm.
using, what do you think is one thing that you feel that the form builders should really get on and fix it?
I think really easy and customer orientated customization feature. So
Okay.
you you can click on these items, you can change your colors, your fonts, and all the stuff, but you have to be at least a little bit into tech IT, all the stuff. So color codes and this stuff, you have to know it. So I think when somebody vents a way where you can say, hey, this is the URL of my homepage, adapt this look and put it in this form, this will be a game changer. So I think most of the users or clients from form builders are just normal people with no IT background, so they can open a browser, they can do some PowerPoints and all the stuff. But I think it took a lot of time for them to create a form that matches their design, their CI, and all the stuff. Sure, when you're a big company like Adobe, Airbus, whatever, you have IT guys, design department, all the stuff, they can handle this. But as a one person company, your main focus is not how to use a tool or how to code something. You just want to open up the editor and you want to click, hey, it should be look like this. But most of the clients are going with, oh, okay, I choose a template from this form editor, a light or dark one. Yeah, this is nice, and maybe it matches some kind of my homepage where I want to embed this page. But it looks in the most cases terrible. So I think there has to be a way for the simple customer, I will call him, to just implement their design on the form builder, and it has to be easy. So usability is always the main pain point, I think.
Got it. No, I think that's valid because there's definitely Webflow, which is like visual design
Mhm.
tool out there, but there's nothing like a Figma for forms, I would say, wherein
Yeah.
you can just drag drop and you can create a form out of it. So I definitely see a use case over there, but I feel if there are few folks who have figured this entire thing, then I think it's the WordPress people. So I date back to using Contact Form 7 for my own forms in WordPress. And it was such a beautiful plugin actually. All you need to do is just drag drop, like create a form. They will give you a short code you put in, and it used to come as a bare bones HTML and CSS. And then what it will do is it will just pick up the CSS from the website. And since like it was part of your website, like most of the forms that you embed these days, they are not the part of the website. They are either they are an iframe embed or they are a JS embed, and then So they are not able to pull in the styling from the website. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel the way it works in WordPress ecosystem is that the form is essentially with it's just part of the website's HTML.
Yeah.
So you can pretty much customize it the way you want. And then most of these themes they come with really nice CSS inbuilt. So that is something I feel that WordPress really aced it. But again, with WordPress, you again have these kind of issues, like you cannot have like the storage issue. There is this biggest security risk that WordPress inherently carries with it. I think over time they have definitely tried to improve on that, but again, having GDPR compliance, and you never know like how easily a WordPress website can be hacked. So again, if that solves one thing, it doesn't solve another thing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel in the era of Chat GPT and OpenAI and all these AI tools, these things are kind of left off. And I feel that it's really important to yet fix the basics of these things because form itself, I feel, is such a powerful tool within the entire web ecosystem because you might do anything, like you might build a very fancy website,
Mm-hmm.
but at the end of the day, if you want to collect a lead, it's like you have to go back to the dad of the entire ecosystem. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's a form. There's no other way to collect data, you know. So I
Exactly.
think yeah. So people should definitely. I think there should be more form builders because it's healthy for the ecosystem and it brings in innovation. Like you had a problem and then we fixed it for you. So I feel there's so much of room for this entire form ecosystem to evolve.
Absolutely. And I totally agree. You fixed some problems of clients. Sure, if you're an IT guy, if you can code, I think, a good form yourself. You can integrate with some platforms like ClickSense or Zapier to get this OTP stuff working. But I would say most of the users are not coders or IT guys. They are just users. So they want to have a simple solution to solve their problem. And this is what you do. And what all of these software as a service company do. The main question is always, what do I want to achieve with my form? I would say. So do I just need an review? Do I just need a contact form? So this is really basic, and most of the website builders like Squarespace, WordPress already have this integrated. But if you want to collect specific data or want to ask specific questions in this form, and maybe you want to have some kind of a route that it goes. So if the answer to question A is this one, you go to a next question and all the stuff. So like a tree that you have, it gets really, really complicated to code it yourself. So this is what products like MakeForms, like Typeform, like all the stuff is used to. And as always, every tool comes with a price, and you as a entrepreneur or as a business owner, you have to decide how much is it worth for you to have less pain. And I think when it's on the way to lead generation, and this is, I think, most forms are used for, it's a good way to reduce your pain and your stress, and you just want to have a tool that works, and that the data that you get that you have to work with to build new clients, this has to work, this has to be reliable, flexible. You have to have a good support. And as an example, at Google Forms, there is not really a support. If you want
Yeah,
to call Google support, you need hours. This
yeah,
is
yeah. So there is this trillion-dollar company, then there's this billion-dollar company, and then uh, over there you have a little bit of support, but you really are not getting an answer which has a commitment. So I think that's it. I think we discussed a lot about your journey, and then like how you have gone. I think you probably have really good experience because you pretty much have used everything like Google Forms, Facebook ad
mm,
forms. So it was nice knowing your perspective when it comes to form because like we as product developers and product managers really cannot look at the this thing in detail as much as you as a end user would look.
Hmm.
So it's always good to have these kind of conversations and understand your pain points, because now even if you ask me, we've been building MakeForms for the past 3 years, but honestly speaking, we never thought that being able to design can be a pain point. So now that I'm talking to you, I
Hmm.
understand that okay, this really matters. So this does help us. So yeah, overall it was an amazing conversation, Sebastian. Thanks for
Thank you
picking up
so much.
to join this formcast. We are saying this because it is podcast about forms, because like that's, I feel form, as I said, is the most underrepresented member of the ecosystem, and it deserves all the respect. So thanks again for your time, Sebastian.
You're more than
It was
welcome.
having you on this podcast. Have a good
Thank you
one.
so much.